Hello, I'm Ethan,
Hi, Ethan. I'm Jason.
and welcome to Gay Ravings, a podcast where a long distance couple talk about shit. And
Not in the literal sense.
yeah, there'll hopefully be none of that here. Yeah, I don't think the audience for that is very big, and most people wouldn't enjoy it. But so, why don't you start us off with a fun fact?
Fun fact apparently in ancient Athens, a lady was so mad at the state of their. I think it was basically midwifery care, not just any sort of hospital care, but specifically birthing fatalities, that she went to Alexandria to study for all of that, came back, and then because they weren't allowing women to practice medicine in Athens, she just disguised herself as a dude and uh, basically saved so many women during childbirth and labor and all that jazz that the fellow doctors just got pissed and thought that she was sleeping with the women in order to get her ratings. And so she had to strip in front of them to prove that no, she wasn't doing that. Maybe she was, but she
Yeah.
wasn't doing that as a dude. And turns out they wanted to behead her still until a good chunk of those doctors' wives had turned out to have gone to her and survived their childbirth and were willing to throw down on her behalf. And then,
Well,
after all that, they allowed women to practice medicine in Athens.
well, good for them. As uh, As the story demonstrates, the best way to change things is to just
Do it in
kick
drag.
ass at, yeah, doing drag and being better at it than everyone else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
turns out that works out both ways.
yeah. So, have you been following the news lately?
I try not to because every time I look at the news in America, I'm sad.
Well, there was one incident that was so hilarious recently where the White House tweeted out a picture their of a certain politician dressed as a Jedi. And yeah, that was an actual official thing the White House
Uh,
did.
and yeah, the other thing they did was defund NPR and public broadcast television.
Oh man.
Yeah, no more Sesame Street.
Who, who could possibly have a problem with Sesame Street?
Apparently, the right wing and Trump has a literal grudge against them so hard that they defunded the whole thing.
Note for Chris. Hannah's going to be really pissed off at that.
Ugh.
Um,
And I'm
like,
very sad about that because, ugh,
yeah, I
just
mean,
ugh.
who who can have a problem with Big Bird? Big Bird's the best.
Yeah, I love my delusional giants.
Yeah, and let's not even get started on Cookie Monster. Like,
Oh my god. And Bert and Ernie. That's
yeah,
probably one of the big reasons why they got defunded, though.
really.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I remember. I remember certain people throwing a tantrum when it turned out that the teacher in Arthur was getting married to a dude.
Gay rat wedding.
Yeah, and like, was anyone surprised that Mr. Ratburn was gay?
I mean, to be fair, I was, but that's because I stopped paying attention to Arthur and I was like, oh wow, Arthur has something, I don't know, relevant to my adult life going on.
Hmm.
Not
Like,
just, I can't read, so this guy can't stop me.
to be fair, that is a good meme.
That's the
Um,
best meme. GW is savage.
oh god. Yeah, Arthur. I've watched a few episodes of at least the Arthur was going when I was a kid, and yeah, it still holds up. It's a pretty good kid show.
And well, I mean, that's the whole point. Plus, the whole what was it? Anthropomorphization of Arthur that happened, right?
Uh, in the books. He started off having like a proper aardvark nose, and the whole first book was about him not wanting to change it. But then for the TV series, they changed it.
uh, and I think he's an anteater. I think aardvarks are different.
I'm pretty sure Arthur's an aardvark. Either way, he's a friendly little guy,
Yeah, but the
and I'm
sad
here
fact
for him.
of them manipulating his face after that whole thing is funny.
Well, as I say, I'm here for him. Here for him and all his little pals, and just good. A good kids TV show is really good. Like, obviously, it's good. It's good to teach kids that be nice to people.
Also, the fact that the right wing is upset with moral fiber television, but for some reason wants people to raise their children right. I mean, you're gonna have way less people wanting to have children just from last shenanigans.
Yeah, like wasn't there? They met the right wing made some knockoff of Bluey called Chip Chiller because apparently Bluey's too woke.
Everything childish is too woke. Sharing, unless it's got like guns in it, it's just too little, too late. Apparently,
Like, and yeah, I don't see what's like. So what you're saying is woke is being nice to people.
yeah. I mean, the I shouldn't talk about it, but I want to. I mean, most of the teachings of Jesus are too woke for them.
Ah, do tell me about it. Like, from what I can tell, Jesus was a pretty cool dude. You know, big thumbs up to if any Christians are listening. Big thumbs up to all of you.
And I'm going to say big thumbs up to the people who actually believe in that instead of the people who listen to it and then somehow have an opinion on it that, I don't know, gun safety isn't okay and that, like, women shouldn't have rights and that adulterers should still be in charge of too many things.
Didn't he say, "Let he who's without sin cast the first stone"?
And here we are with people casting stones left and right as if they cast no sins.
Like, I know morality is subjective, all that jazz, but even if it is subjective, I think there are things that most people agree on are wrong.
Well, it's okay. You know how in a video game when you're playing and people are like, "Why won't you just murder everyone? Doesn't that make the game easier? Why are you making it so hard on yourself? Can't you just break the laws?" I'm like, some of the time it just makes me feel happy to not be a douche.
Yeah,
I don't know what you want.
like the game up that's actually relevant because to the topic I'm going to bring up because I started a challenge run of BioShock, which is a game I've played about a billion times in the past. I've even got BioShock tattoos. But I started a challenge run where I don't use any of the Vita chambers, which, if you die, resurrects you for free. And in that game, I never kill the little sisters.
I
For
mean,
context,
that sounds like a good way of doing it, but extra hard.
in for context, in Bioshock, there are creatures called Little Sisters who uh, they were little girls who were turned into these creatures, and they were used to harvest one of the game's main currencies. And if you kill one of their bodyguards, you can either kill them and get a crap ton of currency, or turn them back into a little girl and get a little bit less currency.
I mean,
I
they also had that system in Vampire, which was so heinous.
Yeah, but I think it would. I think it works better than in Bioshock because, well, moral choice systems in general, I'm not a big fan of. But it work. I think it works better in Bioshock because, well, that's a good point. Why does it work better in Bioshock? Anyway, I like
Nostalgia, and it did it kind of early on enough that people are attributing it to it more than anything else.
I like Vampire too, but
Also, I mean, the thing that did that first was the old Borderlands, wasn't it?
wasn't it the old Fable did the whole?
I think Borderlands came first.
No, I swear the original Fable was 2005. I want to say, whereas Borderlands was 2008.
No, the first Borderlands is way older.
No, I'm gonna have to look this up. Oh,
Mm, uh, not Borderlands. God, what is that? Um, wow, I am a bad nerd. The one with the nuclear holocaust and
oh,
everybody
Fallout.
Fallout. That's the one I'm talking about. Borderlands. My God, I am so bad at this. It's just
Levi,
because I've actually played Borderlands and I don't actually care for Fallout. I know Levi would
Levi, yeah,
be assailed, but to be honest,
yeah.
it's one of the few things I have a problem with is the proper names of anything. I know exactly what I'm referencing, even if I'm referencing it wrong. Why doesn't anybody else understand that? But yeah, no,
Well,
Borderlands did that very early on.
didn't also Planescape Torment.
I mean, probably the only one reason I even know of that series is I have that book from an old book sale back way back when I was a kid. Never bothered reading it because I got scared of it like 3 chapters in and stopped reading it. But I still have it on my shelf.
Well, there's a Lilo and Stitch game I had when I was like 5 or so, and um, when the first boss showed up, I literally started crying and ran to my dad, being all like, "Oh, Dad, they're gonna kill Lilo!" But now I
Oh,
eat,
video games.
yeah, but now I eat scarier bosses than that for breakfast.
I mean, the first time they taught me that something scary-ish wasn't that scary was Pajama Sam. That video game was basically public access television.
Oh, I haven't played any of the humongous entertainment games, but they're fun to watch on YouTube.
Oh my god, I actually played them almost all entirely firsthand uh, in elementary school while they were still an actual game studio.
And
It was,
didn't they all get? I'm pretty sure they all got re-released on Steam and
I
also I
have
think
all the Pajama Sams.
then what I know is that Bioshock is a good game, and I'm doing a challenge run of it where I don't use any Vita Chambers because I played it so many times that I really want to play it again because I love the world and the storyline. But as I say, I played it so many times that you know nothing can really. It's supposed to be a
Bamboozle
horror.
you?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a horror game, but the thing with the whole Vita Chambers is, you just get killed and then you wake up in a Vita Chamber. But if you can actually go into the options and turn Vita Chambers off, so that's what I've done. So not only will I get a trophy when this is all finished, but I'll also, yeah, make the game scary again.
Woo!
I know a
Look
horror
at
game
you
being
go.
a horror game being actually scary. Who'd have thunk it?
I mean, how far back does it take you? Or does it just kill you outright?
Um, it kills you outright, then you have to reload a save. Admittedly, that is what happens in most games, but Bioshock is built around, instant death recovery, so quite a lot of the enemies can kill you in like 3 hits on normal difficulty. And with the big daddies, who are the little sister's bodyguards, oh boy.
That and the fact that I know that there's a band out there called Cherry Poppin' Daddies. No, no, no. That was the
It was.
worst naming parameters.
Do you want to know something even worse?
Oh God, why not?
There's a brand of sauce like ketchup and barbecue sauce and that over here called Daddy's Sauce.
I mean, they saw their chance and they took it.
I I think it was before the internet really ruined that word. When the phrase "daddy"
Sure, hon.
conjures an image of a you know pipe smoking, sweater vested,
Now you're just gonna give people conniptions and fantasies.
like newspaper and slippers, father knows best, leave it to Beaver sort of bollocks.
I mean, that's. I think the problem is people acted like that was innocent for way longer than it was. Way
Ah,
longer.
it's kind of weird because yeah, we got kind of a big deal out of it. We got kind of made kind of a big deal out of the name at uni because obviously bunch of young. I was the oldest person in the class and I was about 25, so
I mean, I get it.
yeah, so you know, between the ages of a bunch of kids between the ages of 18 and 25 hearing that there's an actual brand of mayonnaise called Daddy's Sauce.
Blew your minds.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, when I was in college, most of all I was doing was uh, rebogging shirtless men onto my very, very mildly artistically lewd Tumblr.
Oh my god. Who else remembers Tumblr? Tumblr.
Oh, oh God! So I saw a PM Seymour video the other day,
Uh-huh.
and he's basically just the king of reblogs, reblogged comedy from Tumblr, and it's so funny because I saw some comment. It was a lovely comment that they curated for this show, and I'm like, I know that person. I've role played with them, and I know how wildly lewd that person is, and suddenly it's just the nice, wholesome post that they've posted out of extreme context for their usual stuff. I'm like,
Well,
I
good for them.
know who that is, and I know what they're into.
Well, good. That's their business. They
Well, I know I'm not doxing anybody, but
yeah.
the fact that I knew immediately and I had to backtrack to be sure, I was like, wait a second. Wait a second.
It's like the time I was playing Dead by Daylight and um they say somebody I actually met on a forum who once accused me of trying to steal his girlfriend just for having a friendly conversation with her. Um, came up as one of the survivors, so I was able to get my revenge.
Let him die all the time.
No, I'm playing a killer, so I actually got to kill him. I know, I play killer in Dead by Daylight, aren't I, a little monster?
You slut.
You say like it's a bad thing.
I mean, kind of why I'm into you.
All right, let's not give poor Chris a heart attack.
I mean, I almost said some terrible stuff earlier too, so
Yeah, normally I'd say, no, you have to share it with the class, but
Luckily, I'm kind and a little bit private.
Okay, you can tell me after the recording. Anyway,
He's excited.
uh, so, uh, have you been? Do you have any games to recommend? Any films?
I mean,
Any
right
books?
now I'm still hype about Tainted Grail. None Shall Intrude got an update that fixed a lot of problems and compressed a lot of stuff, so that one's been fun. Uh, the furries have breached containment, so I found a truly adult video game on Steam, which I will not describe more than that. And I
uh,
cannot wait, absolutely cannot wait for Battlesuit Aces.
so what's this? What are these for the audience? Explain what these games you just recommended are.
Okay, so Tainted Grail is Skyrim esque, but with King Arthur overtones
Hmm.
and yada 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 chosen one in a sense of King Arthur inhabits your soul on top of everything else, but turns out not all of King Arthur is there. They split him apart, Voldemort style.
Ah,
Yeah, I mean it's the first story arc, and they put it into the very first part, so I'm not really spoiling anything. If you play past the demo, you'll know that before you even get out to the rest of the world.
so what's the gameplay like?
It's very fun. It's Skyrim like first person magic and tactics with they put in like hard mode, challenge mode sort of vibe, Souls like situation where you have to, if you're up close and personal, you have to dodge and weave and do skills and stuff. But if you're a wizard, or I'm gonna guess an archer, but a wizard for sure, you are OP as hell.
Yeah, I usually play as an archer in Skyrim style games. In fact, I've been playing the remake of Oblivion, and yeah, I'm an archer in that.
I have not yet played the archer, but basically range is so good in this game. And the spells are really fun.
Oh yeah,
Other than the cheese one, which I have not tried, and I don't really want to because of the wording on it. It might
the
be the most
cheese one.
overpowered spell in the game, but the wording on it makes it seem like it's slow effect and self damaging.
What's this cheese spell now?
Okay, so they have a side quest where you save somebody. I mean, not save somebody. You make somebody a truly heinous uh, bit of cooking. Okay, and in return, he gives you a cheese spell,
Okay.
and the spell is condense down from your own blood a block of cheese.
Mhm.
So you have to hurt yourself to condense cheese out of your bloodstream.
I'm not the world's biggest fan of cheese.
And then the other one, because it's got all the spells in the game have two modes. The other mode in this spell is to slowly turn an enemy into cheese.
Again, replace cheese with Cola Sour Patch Kids, and either way, I'd gladly use it. Like, just
I
reach
mean,
and
that sounds like an entirely different game. Because they're trying to be a little bit serious, and it's got good voice acting so far.
yeah, I think when you can just reach into yourself and pull out a bit of cheese, I think seriousness has kind of gone out the window. But
Well, again, they're trying to go for dark, but this is a side quest item, so sometimes they put in humor, but this was not intended for you to find unless you dug around for it.
yeah,
All the other things literally could be easily stumbled across, spells wise and all that, by
mhm.
just skipping about and having a lark.
Yep.
But this one, you actively have to go down one very specific quest line, or you'd never ever find it because they sealed it away so hard. But they did put in an alternate entry because you know how if they give you a quest item in a lot of video games, they're just like, okay, this is the only way to make the quest progress is to use this quest item.
Oh yeah.
Well, apparently they gave you that quest item in case you didn't focus in on some of the skills and abilities the game has.
Oblivion does that too. Like I did a quest for the Mages Guild where I had to persuade somebody, and my persuasion skill wasn't high enough, so they just gave me hypnotism scrolls.
That's so fun. But this one was
Yeah.
in the same vein. It's to do the quest to get the cheese. On top of all that, funnily enough, again, I'm not talking about any of the plot or anything. This is just going to be the cheese quest because it's the funniest part, I think, of what they decided to put into the early game content.
Mhm.
And you have to take a package that turns out to be a bomb for an
Of
entry
course.
into well, the package is an entry key at quote unquote for a sealed chamber,
Mhm.
and they're all worried that it's going to be like a necromancer or like an undead army down there or a plague or some sort of like, you know, horrible monster that you've unleashed upon the world, but you had to because this lady is like put upon to do this task and you're the lucky gopher who's willing to do the task.
Mhm.
And you set the bomb down and they're like, use these fire arrows, it'll, and if you fuck it up she's going to charge you for those fire arrows, but you can just fireball it.
Nice.
It works with all fire effects. I mean, I assume that means you could also use your enchanted fiery sword to do it too, but I don't think you want to be that close to a bomb.
Yeah, I wouldn't myself.
But yeah, they made it perfectly easy to just get into it with a fireball spell and that bomb package they gave you. And lo and behold, here's this weird half dead zombie dude who has been kept alive by the process of fermented herrings and cheese.
Well, uh, that's a weird thing to use to bring someone back from the dead.
No, no, no. In this one, what happens for their zombification is not coming back from the dead. It is staying alive so long you self zombify.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair enough. But the whole thing about being kept alive by herring.
Yeah, his whole thing is that he likes audacious dishes so much that he's gone like a whole 360 on how taste works. He went from like good dishes to mediocre dishes to sucky dishes, all the way through sucky dishes to the point where suck goes so hard it comes out the other side and becomes wonderful again.
Yeah, like how every bad cup of coffee you ever drink just reminds you of all the good cups of coffee.
I wouldn't know that one, but
Oh
it's sour
shit!
cheese and herring in this.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty. Honestly, at that point, I'd rather just take the death. Like if I'm eating surströmming and bloody Stilton to stay alive, then I'm
Well,
just gonna.
again, but that's his passion. So
Yeah, but like at that point, you just give up.
I understand the premise, but apparently that's his whole gimmick. But it's a wonderful bit of oddball character building for such a very in-depth game, with a whole lot of grit and kind of like when you find a weird undead creature and then suddenly your fireball spell doesn't work on them, you're like, well, shit.
Oh God.
That's kind of what this game does. Although fireworks on most of them, but don't do that on the one. The one they decided to put drowners in this game too. They are
Hmm.
awful with fire. You don't use fire on
Also, don't use fire on fire imps.
them.
Just for context, the first time we played Baldur's Gate 3 together, we were in a level with a bunch of fire imps. I panicked and for some reason, using a firebolt cantrip on one of them was the only thing I could think to do. And,
Oh,
fire imps.
I loved it so much. I
Yeah.
was having such a moment. We
Again,
almost died because of that.
well, we didn't.
We almost did, which was why it was so funny. Just watching you panic at us getting ambushed, and then suddenly fireball. I know it was firebolt, but
Yeah, fireball's an entirely different kettle of fish.
that would have been worse.
Yeah, because fireball also hurts your teammates.
Mm-hmm. And you were not an evoker.
No. Evokers mean that
It's a school of
you're.
magic that gives you immunity. Well, not immunity, exemption for teammates.
Yes.
And that's the
Uh,
reason why so many wizards in D&D get away with fireball in a crowded room.
one day I am going to just. I'll firebolt you, mister.
You were the one who brought that one up. I was going to willingly not bring that up just for you to save face.
Well, if you
So,
can't laugh at yourself,
laugh at other people.
no.
But back to the game recommendations because I ranted about uh, the Holy Grail one, Tainted Grail.
Hmm.
None Shall Intrude is a really fun one because it's a card based. I'd say rogue light. I don't know what the difference between rogue lights and rogue lights are, but it's basically the same gameplay loop no matter what you're doing. I do wish they would update it so that if you were playing a different color dragon, because they have red, black, blue, green, and yellow or gold, I think is what the last one is. But I do wish when you had one of the different colors, because red's the only one they've supremely optimized for, and it's a great game no matter what. But because red's the only one they've super optimized for, even if you're playing one of the other colors, it doesn't have cards for all the different elements that your particular color is focused on.
Yep.
It only has like you might come across more of the side elements more often, like wind and earth, but it's almost all fire, even if you're playing the blue ice elemental dragon.
Is it in early access?
It's I believe full release now,
Oh.
but the problem is, not the problem. The problem with a lot of games lately is even if you get to full release, you still don't have everything done.
Well, that seems like a pretty big oversight for a full release.
I agree and disagree because it seems like they decided because it's a passion project to add in a huge bit of content update so that they gave us more stuff. So the fact that they were willing to give us more stuff means that they're probably going to keep updating it, which is why I'm saying it's not necessarily the worst thing because they have tons of time and effort still to add more of the content in. I'm just saying that if they do on this one, in this particular one, because you get to be the boss dragon and raid boss is basically the theme of the game, and you get to go around the countryside burninating, very Trogdor style.
I mean, you can't not love burninating stuff, right?
Yeah, but the other than Fire and Dark, which Dark is actually extremely well optimized so far with Fire because they both have very similar carryover. Um, but Ice, Poison, and Lightning need some sort of like in the shop as of right now. They need to add in more of their element to the card choices because Ice, Poison, and Lightning, you don't find any of their card choices in the shop. But I found dark stuff, or at least the fire stuff works with the dark stuff enough that it was like the easiest one. I was able to beat the game with Dark the moment it came out, but I wasn't even able to beat the game with Fire yet. So, says how easy Dark was.
I I've been play. I've also been playing a little bit, not as much as I want to. I've been playing a little bit of this game called Clair Obscure, the 33rd Expedition.
All right, go
Yeah,
on.
a couple of my
Have not heard of it at all.
lots of my friends recommended it to me. It is a JRPG set in
Oh yeah,
um
it's the one you told me about it, but I don't think you actually told me the name.
yeah, it's very much uh it's a JRPG set in what is pretty similar to Regency era France. And there's a giant number in the sky, and once a year, everyone who is the same age as that number dies, and uh, obviously it's gone down to 33 now. So you're part of every year on this date. They also send out an expedition to try and stop it. So you're the expedition 33 because because next year it's going to be expedition 32, so you will die anyway. And then
Is there
yeah,
any like skirting it or skipping it in this, or is it just everyone's gonna die?
from what I can tell, everyone, because the main character's ex girlfriend in the intro was 33, and when the number changed to 33, she just got Thanos snapped out of existence. And yeah, it's because there's this deity called the Paintress, and they're trying to stop her because she's doing it every year, and they're trying to stop it from happening next year. And yeah, I'm not very far into it. I really like the combat system though. It's like turn-based, but when an enemy attacks, you can dodge or parry it. I haven't quite gotten the hang of parrying because I've always been rubbish at parrying, but
No, I totally understand that. Although you were
yeah.
very good at pairing what little we played in Grounded.
Really?
I
Oh,
remember you being pretty decent. We didn't die that much. It was just the lag that killed us.
yeah. Grounded is a good it's a good game.
I love the game. The only problem was when it full released, all the servers got so dogpiled.
Mm. My problem was you couldn't make friends with the spiders. I want to be friends with a spider.
Yeah, that's a big problem considering the Black Widows.
Yeah, like
You can make friends
um
with the ants, but that's
ants
not,
ant,
that's not enough for some people.
ants are okay, but it's like when I was playing Hogwarts Legacy, I got the game used by the way, so um
I know.
I didn't give Rowling any of my money. There's a bit where the main character with the horribly smug voice acting clears out a spider cave, and they're all like, "Ew, spiders are such horrible creatures." And I just wish, you know how there's an arachnophobia mode in most games now.
Yeah.
I wish there was an I actually quite like spiders mode. So could you please stop slagging them off mode?
I mean, I definitely wouldn't, but the issue is that people love being catered to, and so yeah, I get it.
I just think spiders are neat. I just think they're neat. As
I
Marge
know,
Simpson
hun.
says. I've got a spider tattoo.
And, people shouldn't kill things just because they're afraid of it, or we'd have way more murdered people.
Or unless they're flies. Kill all the flies you want. Flies are the worst.
I mean, somebody out there loves a fly.
Well, then maybe they could explain to me why flies think they have the right to try and fly down my ear canal while I'm trying to sleep.
I mean, it's less that they think they have the right and more they have the wrong directions. Their Google Maps were updated poorly. Like back in the day when Google Maps, had people going into lakes and stuff.
Yeah, they've still got the old version of Google Maps where it says for
Turn
London.
right now. Google,
Yeah,
don't mess with me. I'm on a cliff.
for for the West End performance of Heathers, fly into this guy's ear.
Yeah, exactly. But no,
Yeah, I don't.
that's part of the issue, really.
Although having said that, if my brain was a theatre, like it would be playing Heathers quite a lot of the time because I think about that show a lot.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Yeah,
I mean,
at least
if you wanted somebody whose brain was basically a loop for old media, that'd be me.
yeah, with your pajama Sams doesn't quite
I
work
mean,
in it doesn't quite work in the English accent, does it? Like it sounds better pajama Sam, not pajama Sam.
no, I can deal with either or on that one.
Just speaking as an English person, I just don't think it works as well. Pajama Sam.
I mean, this is the first time I don't think it's super pretentious to be like, you know, colloquially focused.
What was it what was it that fried your tiny little brain? When I
Too many things.
but
Oh, it was. Oh God, now I can't remember. I know what you're talking about.
okay,
Uh,
audience. The word GINGR.
E
Hold
R
that
G
yeah,
I N G R.
yes. Hold that word in your head. Think about how you pronounce it. Right? Have you thought about how you pronounce it? Good. I pronounce it ginger. So every Christmas I have a gingerbread house. Red
And
hair.
I was trying so hard because you just said Jinja, and I there was no context.
No,
There was
you were
no forewarning.
I didn't just say ginger out of the blue, which admittedly wouldn't be entirely out of character for me. I mean, I like just saying the word limes randomly. Um, but yeah, we're playing Stardew Valley, and he wanted to know what the quest was, and I said, "Oh, we need some ginger." And he was like, "What?"
Because you were saying it so heavy on the J, so heavy on the J that I could not fathom like what you were talking about. And we had barely gotten to the area where ginger is a thing. So like even with my wild expertise on that game, I could not fathom for the life of me what a ninja was doing on the island and how we
You
were going to
really
get 100 of them.
you thought you thought I was saying ninja?
I don't know entirely what I was thinking, but that is the
Yeah,
closest approximation.
you had. He was just like, "What? Oh, we got to get some ginger. Got to get some what? Ginger." And then I had to actually spell it out. And then what did you say? How do you pronounce it?
Oh my god. Ginger?
Yeah, ginger.
Ginger. You still say it so hard on the J.
It's how you
But,
pronounce it, isn't it?
God.
What do you? For every Christmas, we have a gingerbread house.
It's ginger.
That's why I said ginger.
Ugh. Anywho. Ugh. Ugh. And then I do want to get to the final game recommendation because I don't want this one to be overlooked because it is queer and it is the only one of these that is exclusively queer.
Ooh, well, as you can tell by the title, we like exclusively queer things here.
I mean, it was recommended to me because it was queer. I do not know how queer it is because it's just a demo right now, so I could not entirely tell you, but they were recommending it that it was queer. Yeah, it's got the tag LGBTQ on it, so I'm gonna damn well hope it is, because otherwise I will be very sad. But it's Battlesuit Aces, and it is mech fighting card game.
Okay, you had me at Game X.
I mean, I'm hoping so. The mechs are cool, the premise is cool, the boys are hot. So far, I'm very happy. Like, I
Speaking
sent
of,
you a screenshot of the hot dude in, like, the first 2 minutes of me seeing the dude on screen.
you're hotter.
And I appreciate that.
Um, yeah.
But because of the fact that Hot Boy was there and it is coming out at an unknown location, but I'm gonna hope summer just so I can make the Hot Boy Summer, reference.
Hmm.
I'm just super hyped for this. It's so fun. It was challenging, but not entirely impossible. And if you let somebody die in the, battle segments, they're not dead forever. Which, oh my god, do I love in a game because I hate trying to be so perfect that I can't let anything falter.
So, I've been playing a game in the similar sort of vein. It's called The 100 Line. You play as this average teenager. It's by the people who made Danganronpa,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a sort of hybrid visual novel slash um, strategy game about a boy who discovers he can he can use his blood as a weapon, and that there are aliens invading, and after protecting the girl, his the standard stock childhood friend, no, we're not going out, sort of girl, that sort of character archetype.
Love them, hate them.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. He wakes up in an academy surrounded by a ring of fire with a bunch of weirdos, and they've told that they have to survive 100 days in this academy, fighting off the aliens every so often. And
that's that's a good trope, I guess. I love a
yeah,
good weird
and
reverse isekai.
if they if they die in the on school grounds, they get brought back to life, and the game actually rewards you for getting units killed, because not only do you get more currency for getting them killed, when they're on the brink of death, you can choose to have them use an extra special attack which kills them, but pretty much nukes everything in a certain area.
Seppuku AoE.
Pretty much, yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah. Like they intro- they in the first chapter, they introduced this one character called Darumi, who I'm in love with because she is just batshit insane.
Oh yeah,
Like,
you sent me a picture of her.
yeah,
I think
she's
this is the one I mistakenly thought the other game was.
yeah. Jason absolutely hates Danganronpa. I don't quite understand why, but
I had
here we are.
exes who were all over it, and
Uh,
that and the other one, Persona, and I basically had to live in our old apartment trying to fix the game so that they could get the perfect achievement. They were never happy with how much I had to do to get to that point because they were like, "Oh, you did it ahead of me. Oh, we didn't do it together. Oh, you didn't do it perfectly right the way it needed to be, even though it was like microscopically different, and if you didn't look on the line at every single point of you making a decision, and then hard reset the whole system if you messed it up, and to redo it, you did this wrong, and I'm just like, this one just became work. This whole thing
Yeah,
just became work.
I do love Persona and Danganronpa, but I'm not that much of a perfectionist. But anyway,
Yeah,
there's this character who's introduced in the first chapter called Darumi, who is just so much fun to watch because she's just batshit insane. She is um she is very disappointed that they're not being forced to kill each other because I think she's actually played Danganronpa and
that's funny.
yeah, I think she's actually played Danganronpa, so she thinks that she's in the killing game. But then when she gets killed and she comes back, she just comes out cheerfully going, "Oh man, that absolutely sucked.
I mean, I
Dying
get it.
hurt."
And luckily, you've been a lot more healing and cathartic on some stuff, so I haven't been like
Oh,
supremely upset about dealing with stuff you like that they like. So that's
well,
why I'm like
I'm glad I can
happy to
help.
listen to all this stuff because it's not the same.
Yeah,
But
yeah. If it helps, it's definitely more light-hearted than Danganronpa because again, if characters die on school grounds or in battle, then they just come back. So
yeah,
like,
I hated. I mean, I hate the ones where they can all die except for the main character. If the main character dies, you're screwed too.
yeah,
Because that was Persona, and that was so much
but no,
problem to deal with.
uh, oh, and each battle is split into waves, and if anybody dies in a wave, they come back for the next wave.
That's fun. That's so
Yeah,
much fun.
so you can basically just sort of meat grinder them, survive through there, and then they'll come back for the next wave, and you'll actually get extra currency for getting them killed.
That's how it should be. If you're going to
Yeah,
do like something like that, it should not be so difficult. I don't know, man. Like I get it. I get you're trying to be niche and death makes for different storytelling, but that's not what that is.
yeah,
If
I
they
say I
all
do.
die, that makes so much sense. But if you have a world where resurrection is possible because of a feather,
Yeah, and then who and then you all know what example I'm talking about. So I'm gonna say spoil. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say this example because everyone knows it, so it won't be spoilers. You know, he can be brought back with Phoenix down, but then the lovely lady gets stabbed with a sword, and rather than just bringing her back, you just dump her in the river. And I'm like, why didn't you just wave the feather under her nose?
yeah, you have access to this item. Like it's in
Yeah,
the main shop. Don't act like it doesn't exist.
yeah, like, and in those games where if the main character dies, everyone's screwed. Like, what? Again, stuff like
The
this
guy
exists.
next to me who has a healing magic can't just heal
Yeah,
me.
yeah, and like, what? They just sort of go, oh shit. Well, I'm going to go get some cakes or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just that one's more annoying than most others because sure, if they're all dead, the whole party died. TPK, yeah, that should
yeah,
be a game over. Get the game over screen ready.
yeah. But if just one guy dies and everyone else is just like, well, screw you, screw this, then I'm going home.
Or I love a good. Oh God, you were out for so long. You know,
Yeah,
yeah, just make that person kind of have to take a big sabbatical.
yeah. Like, I play most games in easy mode, so
I mean, I'm not trying to be pretentious. I play normal mode just because that's where it's normal, and if it's too hard on normal mode, I play easy mode.
So
I don't
I
want
was,
like I'm not playing anything Souls like except for that uh the Avalon game because it's more Skyrim like than Souls like. Like the combat in Melee is technical and difficult, but in the combat in like range is so fun and it's so worth it in my opinion. So
I
if
do
you've
like a
got a
good.
game that can have multiple modes on the same mode just based off of your playstyle and class, that's a lot of fun too.
I do love a good Souls like. I've played all of the From Software ones. I'm super excited for the one that's coming out on Switch too. But
Oh,
I
the
just
Switch 2.
struggle with, huh?
Just lamenting. I
Yeah.
don't even play my Switch enough to want to get a Switch 2.
Oh, well, I'd practically have to glue it to my hand. I didn't need it for wanking.
Uh, hi,
Uh,
Chris.
yeah, I think I have used that expression before in front of Chris. So, yeah, he's not.
I know. I
Yeah.
just don't know them off the top of my head. So, so you just casually saying that after you saying earlier that I was going too far a little bit.
Well, yeah, I have got the Switch 2 pre-ordered. I know I'm part of the problem, but
It's fine. You can pay for $80
limes.
games.
But here's the thing.
But yeah, no, Battlesuit Aces I am hyped for extremely because hot boys, gay situations, prankster lesbian ladies, so far so good.
That all that all gets my personal thumbs up.
And space travel. I love anything space thing. Although they did do at the very end of the demo the trope thing of the bad guys get wind of their plan and now the bad guys want to do like some shenanigans and I'm like, no, not the bad guys. I hate that. We already have some aliens trying to kill them all. Now there's extra bad guys.
Maybe
I
they're
really
just
hate pirates as a bad guy thing. You know,
what's wrong with pirates?
I don't think there's anything
Pirate
wrong with pirates. I
pirates are
love
fun.
Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't think pirates should be a bad guy thing because pirates used to be more of an anti-industry
Um, a good pirate doesn't take anything that doesn't belong to him.
thing. Okay, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the trope where pirates decide to fuck over people trying to save everyone because they're pirates. That's not a pirate theme, okay? The theme of pirates is supposed to be you're a terrible megacorp or you're like literally the big government and you need to be put in your place a little bit. Not you're trying to save all of humanity, let's make it harder for
If as much as I love the Mass Effect series, that does do that a lot. Like all these mercenary groups or whatever, why they bother antagonizing Commander Shepard? They know that they're out to save the unit, the galaxy. They know that you know, they've killed everything else that's ever attacked them.
you. I
So,
mean, seems they don't know it. Seems they don't know.
although to be fair, in the third game they stopped doing that because they realised, oh shit, the Reapers are actually a thing. But still, you'd have thought in at least the second game they'd be like, oh shit, Commander Shepard.
Yeah, I just don't like any situation where it's like, oh, the human race is about to be wiped out, but here's part of the human race trying to help wipe us out. Like, don't do that. That's bad. No. Like, I mean,
Uh,
I'm already
does
hyped for
it
this
count?
game because it's gay, so I'm just gonna give it a pass because it's gay. And there's
Does it?
8 billion other games that have already done this, so I'm not gonna poo poo on their parade. But I don't think that if you want to make something more memorable, make it that even the bad guys are willing to help out. This is a Jesse and James Pokemon Team Rocket situation. Okay, this is not a like everybody is so irredeemable because they happen to be in a financial constraint. You know,
Does it count if they're being brainwashed?
I mean, mouthwashed. Anyhow, I
Don't
I
play
think it
mouthwashing.
doesn't count if they're being mind controlled, brainwashed, whatever, because mind
Well,
control. But I think that the trope in itself, as a sort of like go to, is the problem.
in Mass Effect 3, the faction of human enemies, Cerberus, are being mind controlled by the Reapers.
I mean,
So,
that's the Reapers at that point. It's just Reapers with humany faces. They do that in one of my favorite niche TTRPG games, Cthulhu Tech.
I've been wanting to play that.
Wait, you know about it?
I have heard. Yes.
The book game from my high school years, about 20 years back now.
I think so. It's like Dungeons and Dragons with Cthulhu and.
No, that's Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, then no, I don't
Cthulhu
think.
Tech is like uh Battlesuit Aces, but with alien invasion themes and Cthulhu overlord stuff and cults.
Okay, I'm. Yeah, I was thinking of something else, and so I'm going to hide under my desk in disgrace.
I mean, I just got through without any care, messing up Borderlands uh, and
Fallout.
Fallout. I still am doing it. Okay,
Yeah,
so
you got.
clearly you should not be that embarrassed because, like I said, supremely niche TTRPG. I was almost shocked that you had even heard of it because everybody knows Cthulhu, but Cthulhu Tech is like basically if you are one of those people who likes to metagame a bit and do grand scale like world changing game types, this is more of your vibe because they are trying way too hard in Cthulhu Tech to make something. It was amazing, but the like to figure out the combat system, you basically had to just hope and pray every single person in the group was reading the book like it was the Bible.
That's why you need a rule zero.
Well, yeah, that's kind of how I tried to do it the first time I tried to play it with some other people. And let me tell you, if I wasn't the DM, that game is unplayable in its standard form. Like it was it's fantastic. Wonderful to read, heavy on lore. Like if you want to go into an alternate future history timeline of the wildest niche stuff, it's only set like I think start 25 years from now and 50 years from now, that range. So we're already on space travel shenanigans and some of the stuff in that. Not like to other planets, but like alien invasions and our moon colony getting messed up a bit.
Hmm.
So like we've finally started at that point having a moon colony and like, bigger space station stuff, and then aliens show up on top of Cthulhu waking up, on top of cults, on top of all sorts of things going on, and like a giant not mercurial, magical. I'm just gonna say magical because I don't know what the thing is. giant magical storm brewing in Tibet, where basically Tibet and the region around Tibet gets entirely wiped out due to invading chaos monsters.
Hmm.
And then like on top of that, aliens repolarize the ice caps for us. Not repolarize, refreeze the ice caps for us, saving us from huge global disasters, only to start increasing the polar ice caps effects, making new environmental disasters so that it can take over the world.
Okay.
Oh, and then there's a horny furry cult.
Of course there is.
That one was introduced in like the second or third book, so it wasn't like the start of it. It just suddenly, oh, and hey, here's sexy demi human furry type creatures. Yif.
Fun.
It
That is actually
was
a thing, and for a second there, I thought you were just making sure I was paying attention.
nope. It's in the books. I basically spent a whole summer rehashing, cutting and pasting, and restructuring all the docs for them in PDF format to be an actual legible format of understanding. So there's like a DM's book with just DM information. There's a lore book from what I've like parsed together for just lore information, and then there's a like player's handbook for like player and like the DM has to read that too because the player's handbook has like the understanding of the game mechanics and like game systems and the playable NPCs and player character schematics and all that. And then I made a DM's only version where the DM should probably be the only one reading that out of the group instead of the whole group maybe wants to read the DM's guide at some point because the amount of spoilers that they put into their own manual like was wildly over what like D&D ever did.
Okay. Like,
Like everybody knows the Curse of Strahd is like an old uh game mechanic thing, but like this one is like if you didn't know who the taggers were, and I'm not giving you any information so you don't have a clue, right?
right? Yeah,
If you
please
didn't
don't,
know who they
please.
were, you'd think they were just about as bad, if not worse, than the cultists.
All I know is one day I'd like to do Curse of Strahd.
I mean, why not? I have the gay version.
I'm listening.
So there was a very limited run of an actual niche third party but affiliated D&D booklet series, right? Where
Hmm.
basically you as a third party publisher could publish stuff under the D&D window and they would have promoted it at the time of its publishing for consumption by people. Well, they did up until they realized that they were just basically promoting a very lewd D&D expedition, like extremely gay. And so it's just the Curse of Strahd themed kind of a segment, but with like Twinkie Vampire Dom on the cover.
Okay. So Astarion.
Yeah, it's basically yeah, but with like Asterion in leather fetish gear.
So Astarion in Lae'zel's pants.
Yes, exactly. And so, like, it was actually published by them before they realized they decided to publish it. And then they, like, pulled it and then they, like, tried to hide it. And then now it's just, like, sold by third party groups as a very niche adventure guide. And I own one.
Well, of course you do.
I know, I saw that, I immediately bought it.
Yep, with your library that keeps on hitting on you.
Oh, my library is so fun.
Well, I am glad.
I have my Tom of Finland aficionados book, like poking out with gold lettering, going, hello. Funnily
so,
enough, it's only like half a foot away from my giant collection of Junji Ito books.
so if the two ever bred, you could have gay Junji Ito stuff.
Oh my god.
Fun.
I. Oh my god.
Did I
I don't know if
just?
I could handle that. I love Junji Ito pieces. He's one of my favorites. Probably the only horror genre I can handle. You know?
I
But
do love.
my, oh my, would that be a lot of nonsense if it was Junji Ito meets Tom of
Oh God. Oh God. Sorry, I just remembered Gio's a thing.
Finland? Yeah.
Oh God.
The Geo isn't the only thing. The Spiral. Um, a fun fact. Adam Tots, very funny artist, did a Junji Ito gay porn
Oh
comic,
my. No. No. None of
and
that.
it's the meme from the holes one, the episode, the comic episode where the
Yeah.
holes for everybody exist and everybody has a special hole. But he's like, it's mine, it's my hole, it's my hole, right? And it's just a silhouette, but it's got a huge donkey dick cutout part. That's the whole thing. That's the whole comic. It's the exact same as the original, but it's Adam Tots' character, Adam Tots, going into the big dick hole.
Oh God.
And
Um.
it's not just like just a dick hole. It's like the whole human silhouette with a big dick.
hmm.
And I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
Well, that will haunt my nightmares. Thanks. Thanks, Jay.
Hey, you brought it up. I just said the horrifying part is the fact that Tom of Finland book is only like half a foot away from my Junji Ito collection. And then you were like, why don't we mix them? I was
Well.
just saying that my library is eclectic. You're the one saying my library should agree. Whoever's out there who does make a Junji Ito gay comic, Tom of Finland style, please sign it and send me one. I will so happily put it on my shelf and laud it to every person who wants to listen to my rants and ravings, even if it hasn't been produced yet, or if it has been, even more power to you.
I guess also send it to me, and I'll send it to him.
I mean, I don't
Um.
need two copies. I mean, I'd love two copies, don't get me wrong, but
Um. I like. If anybody wants to buy, if anybody wants to get me some Warhammer, no, no takers.
that's so mean.
I
I
know.
was just asking for a niche book to help promote it. You just want figurines.
Hey.
Although
Um.
anybody who wants to support his hobby from the paint department,
Yeah.
because figurines aside, the paints are not inexpensive themselves either.
The main thing though is I hope you just enjoyed this podcast.
Yeah, we definitely went on a bit of a wild goose chase.
But you know, that's the appeal. It's like you're
Well,
hanging out with a couple of mates.
yeah, in both the literal and figurative sense.
Hmm. And
The mates part, not the hanging out part. We do like
yeah,
you being here, but
yeah, we love you being here, but
I don't think you want to be in between us like that. Yeah,
yeah, or you know, unless we're sitting on some swings, then technically we are hanging because we're hanging from the swing thing. It's just we're on swings and we're swinging back and forth, going wee.
On that note, we may want to end it here.
Okay. Um, Thank you for listening.
And, thank you for being a friend.
Yeah, thanks for being a friend and listening to our gay ravings. I've been Ethan.
I'm Jason. Thank you so much.